Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulihil Kareem. Now we'll be discussing another type of ijma' murakkab, which is what? Adamul Qaili bil Fasl. What's Adamul Qail? Not Qail means a claim. So nobody's claiming there's a difference between two masala. Meaning there's ijma' on one masala, and nobody claimed that this is different to this one, so therefore the Muslims also agree on this one. You get it? So type of ijma' murakkab. ثم بعد ذلك نوع من الإجماع. There's also another type of ijma'. What kind of ijma'? Not ijma' murakkab. Yeah, it's not ijma' غير murakkab, ijma' murakkab. What's this type of ijma' murakkab? هو عدم القائل بالفصل وذلك نوعان. This type of ijma' is known as عدم القائل بالفصل. As I said before, nobody agrees or accepts the premise that what? That there's a difference between two masail. Ahaduhuma, now the two types of ijma'. So Adam al-Qail bi-fasl means that we both agree that they're similar, they're not different. Ahaduhuma ma idha kana mansha'ul khilaf al-faslayn wahid. One is the source, the root, the primary base of the ikhtilaf in both masail. Faslayn means both masail is one. And the second scenario, إذا كان المنشأ مختلفا. So this is a hujjah. This is not a hujjah. Let's go through it. So you have ijma', غير murakkab. That's a very simple ijma'. Like for example, everybody agrees ما خرج من السبيلين فهو ناقض للوضوء. The murakkab, you have عدم القائل بالفصل. What's this? The منشأ الخلاف is one, منشأ الخلاف is two. One is a hujjah, one is not a hujjah. Ajab. مثال الأول, where you have the منشأ الخلاف is one, is فيما خرج العلماء من المسائل الفقهية على أصل واحد. Let's say you got two masail, three masail, but they're all based on the same principle. What are they based upon? The same principle. وَنَذِيرُهُ إِذَا أَثْبَتْنَا. This, if you go back right to the beginning again. According to Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi, what do we say? That التصرفات الشرعية. When we say manhi anhu, what does that mean? يقتضي مشروعيتها. Remember that masala? If you say don't do something, that means it's possible to do it. And therefore by prohibiting it, it means that you can't do it. It will count, but it will be sinful for this. What's the example of this? Can you remember? Fasting on Eid day. So fasting on Eid day. So we're saying here that fasting on Eid day is manhi anhu. And the manhi anhu necessitates that it's possible to do this. So therefore, if a person fasts on Eid day, the fast will count, but he's sinful. For him. Similarly, you're not supposed to perform salah in a if you have usurp, I don't know what word, usurped, I don't know how to pronounce it. I just read it somewhere. I mean ghasab. If you done ghasab of a land, what did you do? You done ghasab of a land. In that, the land that you done ghasab of, in the land that you done ghasab of, you're not supposed to perform salah in that land. For him? If you do, it can't, but you'll be sinful. So that's mean what? That tasarrufat shar'iyya, when they're manhi anha, what happens now? It causes what? It means that it counts. So based on this, قُلْنَا يَصِحُ النَّذْرُ بِصَوْمِ يَوْمِ النَّحْرِ. If somebody fasts on the day of Nahr, he says what? He take a vow, I will fast on the day of Nahr. وَالْبَيْءُ الْفَاسِد. If you have a bayt and it's fasid, not batil, but fasid, يُفِيدُ الْمِلْك. This will also give cause ownership. What does it mean? When you say one, you have to say the other. Why? Because both of these are based on the same principle. Do you understand? So, is Adam al-Qail bil-Fasl meaning that because we agree on tasarrufat al-shar'iyya, the Ahnaf agree. That's not agreement, that's the masala. So you can't, there's not fasl between two of them, because both of these, Sawm and Yawm al-Nahr, and Bay'ul Fasid causing milk, both of them based on the same principle. لِأَدَمِ الْقَائِلِ بِالْفَصْلِ. Do you understand? If you agree on one principle, and the other has the same principle, there's no difference between two of them. That's called Al-Qawl Adam al-Qail bil-Fasl. Another example, we had a masala came before in ta'liq. قُلْنَا أَنَّ التَّعْلِيقَ سَبَبٌ عِنْدَ وُجُودِ الشَّرْطِ. What do we say? أَنَّ التَّعْلِيقَ. Ta'liq. What does ta'liq mean? If you say أنت طالق إن نكحتك إن تزوجتك, يا أنت حر in malaktuka. If you do ta'liq of a ataq or a talaq, you confine or you put shart of the talaq or the ataq based on what? Milk or sabab bil milk. So if you agree on one, you agree on the other. Because it was sahihin, talaq and not sahihin ataq. Or sahihin ataq, not in talaq. Because they both the same principle. So whatever you say in one, you say in the other. So the ijma' in this, that these two masala are the same. Are you following? Because the masala is what? Same principle. Can you do ta'liq of a hukam based on a sabab in the wujud shar? Are you following? So in both of these scenarios, the masala will be the same. We say what? The af'al shar, you can't do ta'liq of the hukam on the wujud shar. So therefore the talaq masala ataq masala is the same, meaning it will count. And Imam Shafi rahmatullah alayhi will say, none of them count, because it's the same masala for both of them. Do you understand? Does that make sense? Yes, that clear to everybody? Acha. وكذلك, not the masala that came before as well. لو أثبتنا أن ترتب الحكم على اسم موصوف بصفة لا يوجب تعليق الحكم به. If we agree, or if we prove that the hukam, when a hukam is described, or remember the example, when you have a hukam which is linked to a particular sifa, that does not mean it's a shart. For example, we said here, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِئْ مِنْكُمْ طَوْرًا أَنْ يَنْكِحَ الْمُحْصَنَاتِ الْمُؤْمِنَاتِ. What do we have here? Those of you who does not have the ability to marry the muhsan, free Muslim women, then you can marry slave girls. So what do we say here? Remember that masala came before. That the shart does not necessarily mean the opposite. That you cannot marry those. So when we say here, أن ترتب الحكم على اسم موصوف بصفة لا يوجب تعليق الحكم, it doesn't mean that it's only permissible this way. It means if you can't afford to get married, the mahar, etc., or the expenditure of a free Muslim woman, then you can marry slave girls. So it doesn't mean that if you can't afford, you cannot marry slave girls. It's talking about one situation. So if you agree on this, so we said قلنا طول الحرة, the ability to marry a free slave girl لا يمنع جواز نكاح الأمة. Yes? Are you following? That's what we say. الصح بنقل السلف أن الشافعي فرع مسألة طول الحرة على هذا العصر. Imam Shafi rahmatullahi alayhi has based the principle that you cannot marry a free woman. Sorry, you can only marry a free woman. Sorry, you can only marry a slave girl if you don't have طول الحرة. So his principle is what? And when you have mawsuf, when it's a sifa or when it's a shart, both a qaid, that means that the hukam is mu'allaq and mashru' with that hukam or mashru' with that shart or that sifa. We don't say that. Now if you have another masla, so ولو أثبتنا جواز نكاح الأمة المؤمنة مع الطول جاز نكاح الأمة الكتابية بهذا الأصل. Why? We say the kitab is mu'minat. So it's two sifa, isn't it? أن ينكح المحصنات المؤمنات. If you cannot marry the muhsan, yes, and the muhsan came before, means what? They're free. And the mu'min. So if you say, well, the muhsan condition, marrying a ghayr muhsan, is not mashru' with adam al-tawl. So similarly, mu'minat is also not mashru' with adam al-tawl. Fahim? This came before his masala. So when we accept this principle, that having one sifa or having one shart does not mean that other things are not possible. So when we accept the amma, then we also have to accept the kitabiyah, because both based on this ayah. Fahim? Yes? وعلى هذا مثاله ما ذكر مما ذكرنا فيما سبق. Other examples as well. If mutlaq muqayyad, for example, if you say that if a word is muqayyad one place and muqayyad other place, Imam Shafi says it has to be. So then everywhere there's two different verses, and one place is muqayyad, other place is mutlaq. Imam Shafi brings the qayyad all the time. We don't do that. So then he has to be basically saying here, when you make one asal, it applies throughout the board. Adam al-Qail bil-fasl. Fahim? Now another example, it seems a bit random. When we talk about Adam al-Qail bil-fasl. وَنَذِيرُ الثَّانِي, meaning what? When we have the mansha'u al-khilaf is two different things. نَذِيرُ الثَّانِي إِذَا قُلْنَا إِنَّ الْقَيْءَ نَاقِضٌ. That what is vomiting breaks wudu. Therefore, فَيَكُونُ الْبَيْءُ الْفَاسِلْ مُفِيدًا لِلْمِلْكِ. Like, qay is naqid of wudu. Therefore, bay is fasil al-milk. لَأَدَمِ الْقَائِلِ بِالْفَصْ. Like for example, Like, yes, we do say this. Al-Qail naqidun lil wudu. And we also say al-bay' al-fasid mufidun lil milk. But they're not based on the same principle. Are you following? Ahnaf, what do we say? Is it Qail naqid al wudu? Yes. Do we separate between bay and Qail is naqidun lil wudu and bay fasid mufidun lil milk? We agree on both of them, innit? But not both on the same principle. It's two different things. It's oranges and eggs. Oranges and apples. It's like different things. You get it? So nobody in the Hanafi mazhab differentiates between the two of these. And say, oh, Qay is not naqid, or by everybody agrees on this masla. But this is based on a different masla. This is based on a different asal. Adam, yeah? Yes? Are you following? Nobody will say this. Like, this doesn't make sense because, so if you say, nobody says that these are different, but the mansha, the usul that we come to the masla, that derive the masla from is different. فهمت? Another masla, أو يكون موجب الأمد القود لعدم القائل بالفصل. Yes, or if you do qatl amad, you kill somebody intentionally, first degree murder, you have to have qawad, qisas. Now, yes, these are all masail of the Hanafi madhab, but they're all based on different principles. So you can't come together and say, well, if you believe in one, you have to believe in the other. You get it? Because it's not the same asal. And it's very random. You following what he's saying here? Yes? Similarly, Imam Shafi rahmatullah, what does he say? The Shafi madhab say that qayd does not break wudu and must break wudu. But they're not based on the same principle of one thing. Are you following? You get it? Like, he's brought some random stuff together to show that, yes, Imam Shafi says this, and nobody differentiates between two maslas. But they're not based on the same principles. How? Huh? Yeah, but they're not the same asal or the same rule he's deriving from for the masail. The qay is not mentioned in the Quran.
Yes, that's why مثل هذا is غير ناقض and must is ناقض.
What do you mean?
Because Imam Shafi's principle is whatever the only thing that breaks the wudu is the ayah.
Yeah, but even then, so what he's saying is that these are based on different fara'. So وهذا ليس بحجة. This is not a hujjah. Meaning this kind of chaos that, okay, because like to say this, we can say, well, okay, the masla of the shart, masla of the sifa, masla of af'al al-shar'iyya. We agree across the board. So it's a hujjah. If you accept this one, you have to accept the other one. You can't say, oh, because you accept that vomiting breaks wuzu, therefore you have to accept the bay fasid causes milk. They're based on different principles. لأن الصحة الفرع وإن دل على صحة أصله ولكنها لا توجب صحة أصل آخر. So even though the fara' of bay'ul fasid necessitating ownership, yes? So we agree that, okay, bay'ul fasid necessitates ownership because we agree on the principle of what? النحي عن أفعال الشرعية يقتضي مشروعيتها. However, that's got nothing to prove that the other asal about the vomiting is sahih. Are you following? حتى تفرعت عليه المسألة الأخرى. Do you understand?
What's the link between this and the ijma?
It's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit thick. But what I guess he's trying to say that if you can have ijma in different ways.
Ijma on this asal, here.
Well, you can have ijma on the asal. So therefore everything that applies to the asal will fit. But if you have, and then nobody saying that they are different. So similarly, what he's trying to say, it's not mentioned in the wax, it's only mentioned here. What he's trying to say here is that because Imam Shafi agrees on this principle, this mas'ala, and this mas'ala, but they're separate. And again, he might be hinting towards another dalil or some other mas'ala we're not aware of. I'm not aware of. But it just seems a bit random. And it's not explained in a lot more detail in the shuru that I've got a noise and mentioned Nur Awar, so it's as far as I can explain. Fine? But the main thing, the first one, Adam al-Qail bafصل. When you have one principle, it goes across the board. Correct? Okay, let's stop here, inshallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanallah wa bihamdihi, wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.